Hello everyone, it is Spinello here for Arbjects Media, and today we are going to be doing a stylized illustration in Adobe Illustrator. Recently on the Arbjects Media Instagram page, I have been running a little contest. I posted something on my personal Instagram account and I asked some of my friends to follow me on my creative account that I started, the Arbjects Media account, and a few of them did. So what I did after that, you're always trying to get more followers and grow your community on a page like this. So I gave away 3 illustration avatars, but a nice stylized sort of a look. So what I did a few weeks ago before I started this, so I sketched a little sketch in my little book here. That's me with my very untidy hair. And I noted some of the elements, some of the stylization that I want with this look. So I wanted chunky elements. I wanted it to be stylized, so not too realistic. I wanted a border around the face. I didn't necessarily follow through with that, but there is a border around the whole character. I wanted it to be cute. So cute enough where you can see that it is the person that you're sketching, but features like bags under the eyes, laugh lines, weird dimples and stuff like that, the wrinkles around your eyes. I left all of those things out just to add to the aesthetic of this cute stylized look. I say there are 3 types of shading, but I became a little bit lazy because instead of doing a block of these illustrations before the time and then sharing them, I did a single illustration every day after my workday, and that became a little bit hectic. But yeah, let's see how fast we can do it today. I'm going to be starting from scratch. What I did in the process of making these, I used the previous one every time to help me to get elements over. But we are basically going to be creating one from scratch. But I will show you what I did initially. So I took my girlfriend, Shantae, and this was the first style that I tried. So you can see it's fairly stylized. There are like light highlights and some light shadows, but nothing really too crazy and too detailed. The hair is also fairly simplified. So I actually like this look. The nose is stylized, the lips are stylized as well. So everything is a nice simple representation of the actual body part, and it isn't too detailed. Then I tried a slightly different style, and this is the style that I went with for the illustrations. So let me just hide away her specs here quickly. So you can see here that the eyes are very simple. It's a stylized circle and just a line representing where the shape of the person's eye is. The eyebrows, I sort of tried to get the general shape of the eyebrows, and then the nose is just simply 2 ellipses, and then the lips you have to draw the shape on. So look, I don't have a Wacom or any sort of stylus pen like that. I'm doing everything with my very boring mouse. I'm looking to get myself a Wacom sometime soon, but not yet. You don't necessarily need a Wacom to do things like this. I follow some amazing people on Instagram and have been for years. They illustrate and they sketch much better than me, and a lot of them use Wacoms or whatever drawing tablet they're using. But you don't always need to have something like that. I know a lot of people maybe they can't afford it right now, or they just can't get into using it. But I really want to try it and teach myself how to use it one day. Anyway, this was the 3rd style that I had, but it's a little bit too stylized. Those eyes are a little bit too creepy. So I ended up not going for this specific look. You can see if I can just open this up here. So if you have to open this up like that, you see it's a little bit creepy just having just having the button eyes. So I'm going to keep Shantae open here. Let's create a new document. we'll just call this Spinello. That's me. We're going to be creating me. Or I'm going to be creating me. I would suggest, so, okay, I will tell you now what to do. You can call this whatever you want to call it, whichever person you are going to be trying to do this style with, this illustration style. If it's yourself, then you call it your own name. If it's someone else, then you call it that name. But why I'm using 1080 by 1080, so this was primarily a competition happening on Instagram. I wanted to get people to follow the Arbjects Media account on Instagram, but also wanted people to subscribe to me on YouTube. So those were the entry mechanisms. So Instagram, I wanted the image to look good on Instagram. So in the past, especially if I'm working in Illustrator, it's not like in 3D when it's not easy to work in 4K in 3D because your renders can usually take a little bit long. Same thing if you're working in After Effects or in Premiere and you're using motion graphics or you're using footage. Once you get bigger than the sort of standard 1920 by 1080, things can get a little bit hairy if you go a bit bigger. But Illustrator, because it's vectors, it's fairly easy to work at big sizes with Illustrator. So I'm always tempted to work like at 4K in Illustrator. But the thing is, when you load that 4K image onto Instagram, it compresses it anyway. So your beautiful 4K image / illustration that you worked on in Illustrator is suddenly now going to look all chunky and what's the word I'm looking for? Very pixelated and very raspy. So there was this article I read. I forget the author's name, but I think what I will do, I will put the article in the description so that you can read it as well. Support the person as well. That's what this whole sort of thing of community building is. We build a community and we support each other and we help each other. We don't break each other down, sort of a vibe, you know? So what this person said is that because Instagram compresses everything, if your image is bigger than like around about 1080 by 1080, then it's going to compress it and it's going to make it not nice, because it's trying to fit the image nicely onto the servers. So I will not speak about it any further because I feel like I'm butchering the topic. So it was just a long way of me saying we're working in 1080 by 1080 for this image. Look, because you're working in vector, if you need it for bigger, if you perhaps want to print this illustration that you're going to create on canvas or something like that, you're working in vector, you're not going to rasterize anything, then you can just increase the size for whatever you need it afterwards. But for the purposes of this tutorial, we are going to be working in this size. I feel like I'm speaking too fast, but there's some football that I want to watch later. So I'm trying to get this done. Not American football, proper football, like soccer football. So there were a few images that I took. What you can do is, for yourself or whoever the subject is of this illustration, try to get a picture that's as front on as possible. I imagine your person won't be wearing a massive beanie on their head, so try to get as much of the face like straight on as possible, because then it will be easy to build the shape of the face, and it will be a quick process instead of being a process where it will take a bit longer. Look, you can draw over the person exactly as they are, but this is supposed to look like an avatar, you know, like something you would create in a game or something like that. So the more symmetry we have, the better. I'm not saying you have to have symmetry, but the symmetry just looks cooler. Obviously, because I'm doing this eyebrow thing that I always do in photos, it probably won't have any symmetry. So I think, I'm not sure which one to use, because I like the beanie one because it looks better, because I'm very self-conscious about my receding hairline. But this one has more of the face. So I think I will just do this one. I can always cut my hair in the illustration if it's a little bit too crazy. Okay, here's my mug. Let me just do this quickly. I'm going to create another layer. I'm just going to call this face. I'm going to just lock this layer so long, the reference layer. I'm just going to create, going to go to the rectangle tool. Just going to create like a shape like that maybe. And then we are going to just align it into the center. We're using the align buttons over here. You can open up this tab if you want to. Aligning it to the center just so that I sort of know where to place the image so that it's nice and in the center. So just one more thing that we are going to do. I want you to double click the reference layer that you created, and then we are going to click on template, but we are not going to dim the images to 50% because I actually want to see what the image is doing. So what template does is it locks the layer for now, but we're going to move the layer around again. But when you press Ctrl Y on your keyboard, it will then, your layers and your layers that are not in the reference layer that you have here are now going to be wireframe. And this is how you can use your reference photo really as a guide. And then we'll be drawing like this for most of the tutorial. So if you didn't get that, the layer that your face, that your reference image is in, you double click it. You double click it when it brings up the layer options. You say you want it as a template and you don't want to dim the images to 50%. If you want to, if that makes you work better, you can do that, but I don't prefer doing that. And then before you lock it, we are going to move it around. But remember, to get in and out of this wireframe mode, you press Ctrl Y, okay? So all the other layers will then be in wireframe mode that aren't templates. So before we lock this, let's just move my mug sort of into the center. That's why I created that shape, so we have a better idea of where the sweet spot is to put this fat head. Sorry, I'm going to try to not be too too negative about my self-appearance. I wish that I didn't have this receding hairline, otherwise I would really grow my hair out, because my hair is quite soft and fluffy. It's like candy floss. But with the receding hairline, it looks ridiculous. My hair is supposed to start over here when I was younger. If I show you pictures of myself when I was younger, you wouldn't believe me. Anyway, enough of this nonsense talking. So let's go to the face layer now. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to... So this layer at this point in time has a little black line around it, the outline here. So we don't necessarily want that just yet. So if you tap on either side of these, you will activate the foreground color or the background color. So we're just going to press this none so that we have nothing on there. Go back to the foreground color and then go back into wireframe mode, whatever the mode is called. I actually need to check that. And then I'm going to color pick what color I want for my skin. Look, I am a nice light coffee, sort of light brown, so a sort of a color. If you feel that you aren't getting the color that you want from color picking, so let me just say what I'm actually doing. So if you want to, if you have your shape selected, you press V to open up the selection tool and you select your shape. If you press I, you'll get the paint dropper tool, and then you can paint drop a color from anywhere. We're going to be using this a lot for this tutorial because we're sort of trying to get kind of the colors that we want for your illustration. So I think this is sort of where I will find the color. Somewhere here where it's not so highlighted. You can either do it like that, or there is another way to do it with the swatches. I will show that to you now as well. I think that's okay for now, but I might pick another color. So you will go to your swatches. You can just go to Window, Swatches, or if you have it saved as part of your UI, you can go to Swatches, and then you will click here on what looks like a little library books. You go to Skin Tones, and then you will have all your skin tones across the board for the human race. So you have your lighter skin tones, your mid skin tones, and your darker skin tones. So if you aren't happy with the selection that you made, you can just pick one from here and you can check if it works out. Just make sure that you have your shape selected when you do that. So you can pick in. I sort of feel that is more where I am, this nondescript this very nondescript beige sort of vibe. Sorry, I don't know what I'm doing here. I'm just gonna move this. I wanted it here actually. Okay, cool. So I'm happy with that color. So the next step is your face shape. Because I have so much beard right now, we are really going to be sort of trying to thumb where it's going to be. So if there are two ways to select shapes, right? You press V and then you will select the entire shape. But if you choose A, then you can choose each point / vertex, and then there are some options that you get with the selection as well. You see these round little dots here. If you pull on them, it's what you can use to adjust the corners of your shape. So I know how my chin is. There are 2 points over here. There's a point over here and a point over here. But again, because I'm so beardy, it doesn't actually matter. So what I usually do when I do this illustration and I start with the person's face, I'll press V to select the entire shape, and then I'll pull all of them in. And then I will start changing the shape from there. So I'm actually going to let my hair do most of the heavy lifting here, but let's just move things around here. So I'm going to select this point with A select, this point with A select. Then if you press S for scale and you move these around, then it's almost like you're scaling the shape inwards. So you can move to 2 points at the same time like that. Just looking here, I think I'm going to add a point here in the middle and a point in the middle there. You see the pink things that come up are your guides, so you can switch that on and off with Control U, your smart guides. So I'm going to take these 2 points over here on towards the chin. Just going to bring it in. Look, obviously you have your own person that you are going to be doing there. So the things that I'm saying here is not necessarily the same that you would be going through, but shape your person's face in this time, okay? I'll just explain what I'm doing as I'm doing it. So A selection, press P for the pen tool. I'm keeping in Alt so that I can drag my handle along like this. So I will gonna be dragging the handle again here. Like I say, my beard is hiding away a lot of my face, which is great because if the beard wasn't there, you would see that the face in question is an actual potato. Very potato facey underneath this beard. So I'm just going to be shaping this in the meantime. But like I say, you will have your own shape to be shaping. I hope you don't get bored of my face during this tutorial, but hey, it's my only face and I need to make do with it, you know? You need to make do with the hand that you've been dealt. Okay, I'm happy with that. It looks wonky, it looks weird, but I'm hiding behind the fact that I've got lots of beard to hide things away. I'm going to be doing the hair soon, but let me just show you how to do the eye. So we want to try to work as little as possible with this eye, and with everything. This is supposed to be a fairly quick way to do an illustration. You shouldn't spend 5 hours on this. So what I went for with the eye, if we have to zoom in here, we went for a stroke and a circle that sort of gets capped up inside the eye. Let's create another layer. Alt click on the new layer button over here, and you will get options like this. So we're just going to call it eye right, our right, the person's left. just going to keep all those options normal. So P for the pen tool, and this color is fine for now. We are going to change it afterwards. So we are going to be using the Bezier curves to draw out just the eye shape. Look, you can go a little bit more detailed in here, but we're just going to be drawing the basic eye shape. No eyelashes, even though my eyelashes are quite long, to the irritation of my beautiful girlfriend Shante, who was used in the other illustration. So all I did there was, when I was done drawing that shape, I pressed escape to stop drawing any more of the shape. Now we can just manually adjust by keeping in Alt in the pen tool. Brings up the tool to drag the handles, the Bezier handles of your shape. So I'm happy with that. We are going to style that when we go out here. Now let's get our ellipse going. You select the ellipse tool, and then you just get it looking nice like that. Now you're probably asking, dude, what is happening here? Everything is the same color, and in wireframe mode it's way over. Let's fix that. Okay, let's deselect our eye shape over there. Let's go out. Let's make this quite a few shades darker. Let's make it that brown. Okay, so now it looks weird. It's like this weird ethereal, macabre looking eye, but that's because we aren't going to fill the shape like this. We are going to do this. We're going to flick this around. We're going to swap this, and there we have a little bit of a stroke happening now. But we are going to the stroke menu here. We're just going to chuck this up to 5 first. Then we are going to click on the stroke menu, and we are going to say that, okay, I wanted 5, not 6. Then we are going to say that we want a round cap, and then that rounds out the end parts of your line. You could choose a different corner, but we don't necessarily have corners here. So yeah, I'm happy with that for now. And in this, we will make this the same color. Press I, color pick, and then we are just going to press V just to get out of that mode, and then swap that back around. And then all we are going to do is we are going to press P for the pen tool, and then we are going to find a spot around about there, and we are going to find a spot around about there, and then we are going to delete. So if you are in the pen tool and you have a shape that you created, if you go anywhere on the edge of your shape that you created, you will see it has a plus sign on it. Those are to add more points. If you go to any of the points, it will bring up a minus. That is to subtract any of the points that you made. If you're in an open space, it'll have asterisk. That's to create a new shape if you wanted to. We don't want to yet, so let's just delete that. So let's just go in here. We are just going to make this a little bit tighter. So A select, and then go back to the P for pen tool. Then we are going to bring that down with Alt select after you went into pen tool. So now if you go back, it should be fine. And there's my eye looking at you already. Very nonchalant and not in the mood for any of your shenanigans. So we'll go back to P. Eyebrows are funny, especially if you're doing it in a stylized way. But usually what I do, I just plot. I try to plot it as loosely as possible, and then I try to clean it up afterwards. So we'll just draw this distinct shape that I have with my eyebrows. And lots of people, it's funny, when I was doing the I called it follower appreciation week. When I was doing it, I noticed how many of my friends don't have eyebrows. It's like, people, wear your eyebrows. How do you control your sweat when you are sweating? That's what eyebrows are there for anyway. I'm talking absolute poppycock. Let's just continue. Oh, these eyebrows are not looking good, but we will sort it out just now. Look, my eyebrows are very wild and untamed. um, one step close away from having a monobrow. But I think for now that is okay. Let me just have a look at what that looks like. Oh, that's very thick, but that's okay for now. So now we're just going to refine it a little bit. So a select, I'm just going to select a few vertices and just bring things a little bit tighter. Maybe make that a little bit more up. Bring this in a little bit. So you see, we're just trying to get the general shape of the eyebrow. That's all you need to do. You'll see at the end of this, you'll be like, oh, Spencer, this doesn't look like you at all. But you are trying to create the general shape of yourself. I'm just gonna redo these points here. I'm okay with that. I'm pressing Alt in the pen tool and I'm selecting the point and then clicking and dragging. That gives you new control over the points. Over here, I'm just going to move this a little bit up, further up. I'm going to have to bring this in because these handles are going to clash. No, that's not what I wanted. No. Okay, that's okay for now. Then with this point, I'm going to press A, select, just bring that in just a little bit closer. And that should be looking okay now, albeit a little heavy. I think I might make this a little bit darker just to differentiate between the eye and the eyebrow. Cool. Now, what we are going to do now is we're going to duplicate this onto the other side. So press Alt on your keyboard, click and drag your layer just underneath, and you will have a copy. So now you right click, transform, reflect, and you say vertical, angle 90. And then I like to move it like this away from the eye, and then I can move it further with the mouse. Press shift and you go left, 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 just to get it moving away from your selection so you don't bring your previous selection over. So we're just going to sort of manually place it where it needs to be. I'm okay with that. So it's already looking quite good. We're just going to go in here. We can have it symmetrical, but I'm just going to move this a little bit. Just gonna move it a little bit. Just to give a little bit of character. If you select my eyebrow, just a little bit down. So I'm happy with that. That is the eyes sorted. So next we are going up into the nose. So look, everyone's nose is different. There are many ways to do noses, and I used, especially with Shantae's illustration, but some of the other illustrations, look, you can do this as well with these lines over here. So I think for myself, I'm going to do this sort of a look. So I'm not going to do the exact shape of my nostrils. They are not very ellipsy, but I'm going to do a shape like this. I'm just in the ellipse tool, sorry. Before I do that, let's just create a new layer, alt click, call it nose, so that we're always just in our own layer because things can get a little bit full after a while. So I think that's gonna be okay-ish. Let's just rotate it around, hover on your shape until the rotating icon comes up. The rotation icon, just do. So I'm gonna do this line here just to get that shape in. So all you do, you go to pen tool, you click in this sort of a space, make sure you drag out your Bezier curve nicely. That's maybe a bit too nicely. And come in here, I think that'll be enough. Just want to show you all the things that you could do. You can obviously see how your style would be for something like this. Just gonna get this on the edge of the shadow the way that I want it to be. Yes. So let's go into the color mode again. So what I'm gonna do, I'm going to select both of these, control select, color pick the color of the skin that we have, We're just gonna go like maybe down there, just a little bit darker, just to signify that it's a little bit darker. Okay, I'm gonna select this one. We're gonna swap it around. We're going to make it the stroke a little bit thicker, maybe like that, and then we are going to go like that. I don't know if I'm gonna keep this, but I'll see. We select the two of them. Control C to copy, Control F to paste in place. Right click, transform, reflect. Boom. Then we're gonna move it over to this side. Let's just check where we are. Okay, it's looking good. Oh, this beard is going to be terrible. I want to see how I'm going to stylize that. Okay, let's first do the hair now, because it's looking pretty good, but we need to add that definition into the face. So I'm going to create, you know what I'm first going to create? I'm going to just select my face, P, I'm just going to create these ears that are very much in the background of all the fluff. You can't even see that I'm wearing earphones. So I'm going to put that all the way behind. I'm just going to make that slightly darker just to differentiate between the two of them. Look, you're not going to see the ears, right? But I'm just going to do it. Excuse me. They're going to be in the background, basically. Just so that we have them. Cool. Oh, this hairline, this receding hairline makes me so sad. Anyway. Yeah, let's just get it over with. So obviously I'm drawing the hair now. I'm in the face layer. You know what I look like? I look like Thurgood Stubbs from the PJs. Hilarious. Hilarious that's what I look like now as an adult. Crazy times, people. Crazy, crazy times. I love the texture of my hair, the style of my hair, but it's just the receding hairline is terrible. Makes everything look crazy. So I'm just doing a basic, trying to get a basic shape here with this craziness. Look, hair is a big deal in South Africa. I don't know if I want to get into things like that on my channel. This is supposed to be just a creative channel, but maybe you'll get to know why I'm so self-conscious about things like this. In the culture of my people in South Africa, it's got a lot to do with apartheid and things like that, and things that happened in the past. But basically, people with straight hair, you know, like a Caucasian looking hair, are deemed better than people with more coarse hair, such as myself. Our parents were sort of taught that people that grew up in apartheid sort of vibe, and it's tricky to unlearn because you are so indoctrinated into it when you are a kid. But yeah, it's just something that you get over eventually when you're an adult. But yeah, the only thing I wish was that I didn't have the receding hairline. Then my hair would look so cool. So it's funny, I might even speed this up and you won't even maybe hear that, the thing that I just said. But yeah, we'll have a look. Because your hair would be very different. Like for Shantae's hair, the thing that I did is I used sort of strokes to build that up. And then I did a shape underneath the strokes. Like her hair is so long. It actually helped to hide away quite a few of the shortcuts that I took in the illustration. So all of that nonsense aside, we nearly at the sideburns here. Oh, just get this up here. just make this go a little bit higher. So let's just pick a color. I think I'm going to pick the eyebrow color just to get it similar. Haha, it's looking good. If we hide the ref, you can see it's starting to look a little crazy. It is looking good, man. I'm happy with that. I'll maybe refine the hair later on, but it's already looking very much like me. So before I go into the beard, I'm just going to create the lips that are totally hidden by my walrus mustache. Let's go into we are in the face layer. So I'm just going to do a general shape here. Because like I say, my lips are all hidden by my mustache. Look, I am in the position where I can go into a previous illustration that I've done of myself, because I obviously have done quite a few, and just steal the lips from there, but I'm not going to do that. There's a few ways to do lips. So I will do it like this. So I will treat the two lips as separate entities, which they are, but they kind of not, if you think about it. You have two lips, but it's kind of one big lip, if you know what I mean. It's like it's connected all the way through, so it functions as two separate lips, but it is actually one cylindrical sort of shape. You have all of these existential questions that you question yourself with when you are drawing lips. So I'm definitely not going to be having black lips. That's extremely goth. I just try to get, I think it's more of that. Yeah, it's more of that sort of color. So I just color pick that. I'm going to make the bottom lip the same color, because I'm going to show you how I've been differentiating the lips in this illustration series. So I'm just basically drawing the shape of the lips. This is supposed to be a quick and dirty, nice, quick illustration style. So then I'm going to be drawing, when I click like this outside, if you press space, then you can bring it in, because sometimes if you want to create a new shape here, you can't, because there's too many other shapes overlapping. So it's an easy way to just draw a shape anywhere, press space, and then you can move your shape around. If you didn't know that, that's a tip you can now use. So, wow, next time I definitely should bring myself water when I'm doing this. My throat is so dry of all the yapping that I'm doing. So we can press escape to stop that shape, Control Y to go back into this mode. Then we are going to just go out and press V to select it, so we have the stroke options. We are going to flick this over and then just make this a bit darker, like that maybe, and then push the stroke up to maybe 3 or 4. I didn't explain this earlier, so this is the variable width profile. So they have defaults here. You can create your own, but this line, that shape I use quite often, because you can just use the taper to go in between shapes like that. So it just works out nicely for most things. I think I'm just going to select this, and I've got a bit more girth in my lips than that line suggests. I have what you would call dick lipper in South Africa, because I've got thick lips. So let's do the soul patch next. The whole point of stylizing is you just want that nice sort of, you can see who the person is, but it's still kind of cute and avatar-ish. Oh, look at that curl. I lose so much of my beard on a daily basis. It's crazy how the hair just falls out. So we are just going to select that color again. We're just going to make everything that color. Oh, I haven't shaved in this whole year. My unshaved face looks very funny. Okay, so I'm going to do the beard next. I'm not going to attach the beard to the mustache. I'm going to let it be its own entity. Wow, is that how my beard comes out? It's going to be very interesting to see how wild we can make that. So I'll just try to make jagged edges like this. Goomp. Like this. Goomp. Like that. It's going to look very wild and feral, but I actually don't mind that. I like looking wild and fiddle. It just adds some ruggedness onto me, and I'm actually not rugged at all. I'm very much a homebody. I haven't been on a hike in ages, you know. But I mean, with the pandemic and things happening, I don't know how crazy it is in your country where you're watching from, but it's been kind of rough in South Africa. Initially, we struggled to get vaccines in the country. I think we have enough vaccines now. I myself am getting vaccinated on the Wednesday after I release. It's Sunday here today where I am now at this point in time. You're obviously not going to be watching this on the same day that I'm going to be sharing it, but the Wednesday after the Sunday is when I'm going to be going for my vaccine, and I'm looking forward to it, you know. I had COVID earlier in the year, so I don't know, might have a little bit of immunity built up, but you can never be too sure. And it's not for me that I'm worried about. I'm be okay with whatever happens to me. It's like, how can I help my fellow man, you know, sort of a vibe. And if I can help other people out there by not passing COVID onto them, it would be pretty sweet, man. Yeah, I'm not going to get into an anti-vax debate on a art tutorial. But yeah, it's all about what would you like, how much do you want to help other people, sort of a vibe. I mean, I can't do much other than just get the vaccine and help people like that, you know. These long presses when I go about and do hair and stuff like that is proving to be the political sections of the of the tutorial. I hope I don't lose. I already have almost no subscribers. This is still fairly early in my YouTube in this new channel's history. My previous YouTube channel that I still have, my personal YouTube account, I've had since 2008, 2007, 2008. So that's been around for a while. I've had a few stuff go viral on there, but not really, you know. I'm gonna just go back a bit here. These hairs are very loose here on this inch, so I'm gonna make this part the hard part where I'm going to be going back to every time. The finer hairs I'm not really gonna worry about because they're the ones that fall out anyway. I'm just gonna make up my own shape here, just to get it into a place where it looks beardy. Okay. There's my face, my actual face line underneath all of the beard. This is gonna look so cool when we finally have the shape all shaped up. But like I say, I'm taking liberties for something like this. Like, for whatever person you're doing, if you've got long hair, you'll have to find your own style how to do that. If you've got a long beard yourself, if you've got some interesting facial feature, you know, anything that requires some extra work, you're gonna have to do that yourself. You can pop a question in the comments and we'll all help each other here. But yeah, that's looking very Abraham Lincoln-y. Wow, extremely Abraham Lincoln-y. I guess that's what I look like, eh? Now we have to put that mustache in because that Abraham Lincoln look is not looking smart for me. It's not a look I think I can pull off. I have had that look before, believe it or not. So look, there is other ways to do this. You can use the shape tool as well. Just like, what am I talking about? You can draw points over. Okay, I'll show you now what I mean. I'm talking out of my bottom at this point in time. I wonder if I can just make this all go across, man, so that it maybe doesn't look so crazy. Let me just do this for now. Just get it over, then we can always add in some more detail later. Something like this. It looks a bit wonky, but we'll check now. Just to see what it's going to look like. Then we can always add in some more detail later. Something like this. there was this funny meme that Post Malone's mustache looks like two otters kissing. I've got a very similar mustache happening. It's very Post Maloney otters kissing sort of a vibe. I'm just gonna zoom in here quickly. Just gonna move this over a little, move this maybe up a little, make this a little bit rounder. So the other style that I was talking about, I'm just gonna round this a bit. That's a bit harsh. Looking very Monopoly Man up in here. Like I say, I've done so many illustrations on myself in the past before. This should be going a lot easier, but this is the first time in forever that I have so much facial hair happening. So it's a little bit new to me still. So the other way that you could do this, but it's a lot longer, that I was trying to say, you could do individual hairs like this. Like, I'll just do this quickly just to show you what you could do if you're doing hair. For something like that. Flick it out like that. Maybe change the color. I'm just going to make this a bit lighter so that you can see what I mean. So you could do that. Then you could just select all of them, make them thicker, and then you could have a different, you could either have that shape or you could have this shape as well. Also works out nicely. And then you can build out long strands like that of lots of different shapes like that. That's a lot more accurate, but I'm not going to be doing that for this. I'm just going to delete this. So yeah, we're basically done. This is a little, I'm looking a little cray here. Shoo, looking a little rough. I think I'm just gonna clean this up maybe a little, just smooth this out maybe a little, because this is looking very, I look like, what's that guy's name that does the wildlife, what's his name, Bear Grylls. Like I look like I've been doing things with him. Yeah, I think that's, that's the wild look I have going here, but that is looking like me, unfortunately. So I'm just gonna do a few small tweaks now, but we are basically done. So yours is obviously going to be looking very different because you are going to be doing yourself, not the hairy person doing the tutorial. But yeah, I will share this on another day, because today I'm going to be giving, I spoke about the competition earlier, so I'm going to be giving illustrations like this away. Your one will obviously look like you. That doesn't look too bad with the nose lines disappeared. But I actually don't mind the nose lines there. Let's just give my nose a little highlight. Let's select this ellipse tool. We're gonna color pick and then just make it lighter than the nose, like quite a bit lighter. You just get a little highlight going there. So yeah, that's not too bad. So I'm just going to borrow something from this illustration that I did as part of the follower appreciation week. I'm going to copy the background, which is just a square, but I'm going to go here. I'm going to select this ref so that my new layer goes underneath my face layer. I'll call it BKG for background. Control F to paste in place. It's already looking cool. And I'm going to copy the shirt here. Oh, let me just delete this white collar. This guy's a Man United fan that I that I did the illustration of, so that's why he's sporting Man United colors. I'm going to create another new layer. We're just going to call it shirt. Paste in place. So I think my head's a little bit too big for this template vibe that I've been doing, so I'm just going to select all the layers quickly. First, I'm going to save. Okay. Then I'm going to save as. I see it's getting dark outside here. I will wrap this up fairly quickly. I'm going to save as just number 2 so that I have my initial illustration on the reference that I was drawing. So I've selected everything. I'm going to press V, and then I can just corner pull everything there. Sort of see where I am. Oh, that is very long. How's that looking? It's looking a little crazy, but I think that might be the... Let me just get this guy's head in here quickly. Control C, Control F. Yeah, that's sort of that's sort of where you need to be. So just going to make my neck that color. Maybe I'll make my whole body just a little darker, just a little bit more caramel up in there. I like that. Just select my shirt, maybe move it over. We're just going to my beard here, just pull this piece just a little bit over there, maybe just a little bit over there also. Cool. Geez, is this what people have to look at? Looking at me the whole time. Shame. So yeah, I'm a Liverpool supporter, so I will keep this as a red t-shirt. But yeah, that's me. It's not looking too bad. The last step I will show you for just to complete this. Once you have your shirt in, you just select shift select everything, Control C to copy. I'm going to go into the, just touch the BKG layer so that my new layer is on top of that. We'll call this outline. We'll paste. I'll hide this away so that you see what I'm doing. I select the outline, Control F to paste in place, and then Control G to group. Yes, so it's grouped. And then you go to the Pathfinder panel and you merge everything together. You unite everything together. We are united as brothers and sisters and they and thems in artwork. We are all united, and I don't know why I'm getting so inspirational. But we make it black. Okay, let's just get this black's hex code. It's black, but not really black. A previous boss of mine was a bit of a a-hole, but he taught me something very cool that you can maybe also learn. Nothing is ever really black in the real world, you know? Nothing is ever 100% black. So when you're working with blacks, give yourself just a little bit of wiggle room and make something that's black just a little bit not black. So you saw where this was just a little bit over from, or like under from what a black is, because black is 0 0 0 0 0. So I just made it a little bit somewhere there, just for a little bit of leeway. I think maybe actually we're gonna get it all the way to the black spectrum here, so it's not half brown. So we'll be using this 161616 hex code, 16161616. There we go. And I think the stroke that I took was 30 usually. Oh, now there's another cool trick that you can use in the stroke panel over here. You see those crazy corners over there? That's when you select on round corners, round drawing, so that you get a very clean looking outline. Then you can put everything on again. That's looking a little crazy. I need to shave. You can always, if you see that the black doesn't look as nice, you can maybe try white for the outline. Let me just select my outline here. You can maybe try white. I think that looks a little bit better because my big hair and my big beard is a little bit crazy for that selection. But yeah, look, that's how you do it. I'm having a bit of an existential crisis inside my head for what I look like. Is this what the world sees when they see me? But like I say, it's for a specific reason. Please, if you did this tutorial, come over onto the Instagram page. I will put it like, where am I? I'll put the link here, the @ over here, but it will also be in the description as well. If you did this tutorial, come and show me. Send it to my inbox, and I will share it with my followers that aren't that many yet, but I will send it and I'll share it and I'll share the love. If you've got any questions, hit me up on Instagram. That's where I'm the most active with this page. I don't have enough subscribers on YouTube yet to get the features where you can like inbox and stuff like that. But hit me up with the comments, in the comments to if you have any questions or stuff like that. If you follow me on Instagram, I will follow you back and I will go look at your art and I will like your art every day, because that's how we build a community together. Thanks for watching. I hope you learned something, and make sure that you subscribe and you like this, please. And I will check you in the next one.